Afternoon, another edition of Harness News Update, episode 35, I believe, August 18th edition. And we're live on Harness Link and their variety of social media platforms. We're live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and click to everything you possibly can. Harness Link, keep it following. Harness Link's our presenting sponsor. HarnessLink.com is the only harness racing website dedicated to covering news and events in the standardbred industry worldwide. We got New Zealand, Australia, Europe, America, and of course, Canada. Today's episode is also sponsored by HarnessBid, the game changer in the standardbred and harness racing bloodstock industry, providing buyers and sellers with easy-to-use online platform that offers global reach, unparalleled transparency, and convenience for its customers. With zero commission on every horse sold, buyers can purchase horses with the confidence that they're getting the best value for their money, while at the same time, sellers can list their horses without worrying about hefty fees eating into their profits. For more information and to get started, visit harnessbid.com. And of course, our U.S. Sires Stakes action later is sponsored by the USTA. But before we also have Canadian Sires action we're going to go over, and near the end of the episode, but halfway through the episode, I have an interview with my maritime correspondent, my Atlantic Canada correspondent, Grady Hachey. We talk Gold Cup and Saucer. We talk the Constellation. We talk a couple other stake races going on Gold Cup and Saucer Saturday. And I also get his two thoughts on the two splits for the Lady Crocus happening here in Manitoba at the Loop on Saturday as well. But before we kick off any of that, the World Driving Championship continues today, the last final legs in Germany. And up on the board, here's your stats as of now. There's 5 more races today. And this is how it lines up. So, you got the Netherlands entry, Rick Ibiger with the lead. And then he's got a solid lead, and then it's pretty tight from second, to 7th, 8th. I think it's anyone's game mathematically, according to my math, with a 17 points given out to a win and 1 point for a 10th place. Rodney Gatt could still win, but he would have to have 5 straight wins, and first place would have to have 5 straight 10th places. And I think they would tie actually mathematically, but maybe double check that math. If you don't believe me, but that means almost everyone else still has a shot at it. A lot of luck might need to happen, but we've all seen in harness racing, drivers get on a hot streak and they could have 5 straight wins. And we've also seen drivers have 5 straight last place finishes. And a reminder of the points here: 17 points for a win, 12 points for a second place finish, 9 points for third, 7 points for fourth, 6 points for fifth, 5 points for sixth, 4 points for 7th, 3 points for 8th, 2 points for 9th, and 1 point for 10th. And again, these are your 10 competitors up there. Racing kicked off in Germany at 11 a.m. Eastern this morning. Race 1 was that. The World Driving Championship races are races 6 through 10. And the estimated post time for race 6 was around 2 p.m. Eastern time. So that would have just happened shortly if everything's on time, with race 10 estimated to go at 4 p.m. Eastern time, roughly around when this show should end if everything's on time. So I'll definitely have standings for you throughout the day. You'll see them on the bottom here of the ticker. And when races update, I'll update how many races are remaining and the point standings for the top 5. If there's anything to report at the end of the show, I'll come back live with breaking news to who has won or who's winning near the end. So don't go anywhere. All right, now let's look at the Canadian Sires stake action that was going on. Atlantic Sires stake is kind of where it's at right now. Charlottetown Driving Park was the spot for 2-year-old Colton Pacers. Atlantic Sires stakes on Wednesday. They had 3 splits. Let's take a look at the first one.
Yep. Freeman's Legacy now fifth. The 3/4, 90 seconds flat. Campbell got a soft 3rd quarter in. Paul's Crown turning for home. Tobin's Barn Party on the outside. Dunshan Harry coming up the passing lane. Deep stretch now on the wire. Paul's Crown hangs on for Campbell. Dunsand Harry second. Tobin's Barn Party will finish third. 1:58.1.
Paul's Crow by Hilarious Halo gets his second win of the year and puts up a new lifetime mark of 1:58.1 in the process. Mark Campbell trains the young pacer and was in the bike for the victory. A couple races later in race 6, Marigo Magic also gets his second win in his career and puts up a lifetime mark himself of 1:56.3. Let's see this final quarter of a mile.
Third along the inside, Jackie's Boy. 3/4 and 1:29 flat. They're turning for home. Marigo Magic looking to close it out. Jackie's Boy second. Dusty Lane Tito coming up the inside third. On the wire, Marigo Magic in the Sire Stakes for Adam Murner. Jackie's Boy second. Dusty Lane Tito third. Time for the mile, 1:56.3, 27.3, closing quarter.
And again, that's Marigo Magic. And in the last split, we had Tobin's Chester by Shanghai Phil remains perfect 5 for 5, gets a 1:58.4 mile time, which is just 2/5 of a second off his lifetime mark of 1:57.4. Jason Hugh trains and drive. Let's see this finish.
Is Almac General. Be there in a bit is in the pocket third. Resuscitate is fourth on the outside. Roll your coin fifth. Harry Holmes the trailer. 90 seconds flat 3/4 down the home stretch now. Tobin's, Chester, and the Blue Knight are going to remain perfect 5 for 5. It's Tobin's Chester. Second is Almac General. Resuscitate rallies up third. The mile in 1:58.1.
And that wraps up the 2-year-old Colton Pacers. Thursday at Charlottetown was the 2-year-old Philly Pacers. 3 splits as well. Let's see who gets the first win.
3 high in fifth. Waterford Girl 1:29.3 the 3/4. They're turning down the home stretch, led by She's Just Misunderstood. Fernhill Indigo at the rail. Last Chance third. On the wire next. She's Just Misunderstood for the Blue Knight Use. Second is Fernhill Indigo. Last Chance L third. Time for the mile. 1:58. But
She's Just Misunderstood by Malicious gets her third win in 5 starts, has never finished worse than second. 1:58. She paced that mile, is now her new lifetime mark. A couple races later, Chip of Evil by Arthur Blue Chip remains perfect 3 for 3 and picks up a new lifetime mark. The young filly is trained by Eddie Duchette. Let's check this one out.
Galway Girl on the outside, now third. 3/4 and 1:27.1. They're homeward bound now, and that is Chip of Evil clear the leader. Good Morning Nova second. Galway Girl is third. Worth repeating, Chip of Evil in the Sire Stakes remains undefeated. Good Morning Nova was second. Galway Girl third. 1:56.1. Wow!
And again, that's Chip of Evil. A few races later was the last split. Let's see who could take home this one.
Is First Lady. A girl named Tom is breathing down her neck, and right there's Roll With It Darling. We'll look for the passing lane, and going rough and off stride was Lady Willa turning for home. Promise Me Later advances into fourth. 1:30.3 for 3/4. Zendaya's First Lady and a girl named Tom powering up on the outside looking for the upset. It's a girl named Tom with a big trip here. Then Zendaya's First Lady, then Close, Promise Me Later, or Sensational Gal for the show. 1:59.4.
A Girl Named Tom by Shanghai Phil picks up her second win in her 5th start. 1:59.4. She posted the mile. That's also her new lifetime mark. And that's all really we have for Canadian Sire Stakes. We're going to take a step back, take a quick break. When we come back, U.S. Sire Stakes action. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back. Now it's time to look at the U.S. Sire Stakes action. Several states to look at and sponsored by the USTA with Maryland, Indiana, Pennsylvania. But first, we'll look at New York. They had 3-year-old Philly Pacers, leg 7, 2 splits. Let's see who wins the first one.
3/4 and 1, 22 and 2. Vivian's Dream on top. Southwind Bell on the outside, can't get to her. Wreck Time is making her presence felt as she sneaks up the cones. Coming up on an 1/8 of a mile to go. Vivian's Dream, Southwind Bella into the lightning lane. Wreck Time, and Wreck Time might have the freshest legs of all. Jason Bartlett and Wreck Time storming down the lightning lane. Wreck Time is going to win it in 1:52 and 3, a new track record here at Batavia Downs Gaming and Hotel.
Wreck Time, 5th win of the year in 7 starts. She's never finished worse than second this year, has only finished outside the top 3 once in her career. A few races later in race 10, Earth, Wind, Fire remains a perfect lucky 7 for 7 on the year, has over $536,000 in career earnings to date. Let's see how this one ended.
There's a 126 and 2, just 30 and 1 on the backside. Earth, Wind, Fire, but now Earth, Wind, Fire is awoken as Rock My Socks woke her up. On the inside, turn of the charm, as there's going to be a sprint from here. They turn for the wire, and Earth, Wind, Fire. Rock My Socks is going to have to be huge here. Earth, Wind, Fire, Rock My Socks. Bartlett's at it again, but Earth, Wind, Fire rebuffing on the inside. Turn of the charm, Earth, Wind, Fire. Hangs on the inside, 154 and 1. Final quarter went 27 and 4.
And that wraps up New York. Maryland Sire Stakes, they had a couple leg ones kick off. First up, 2-year-old Colton Gelding Pacers at Oceans Down Wednesday night. Let's see who wins.
3/4 up in 1:31 and 1, but fractions have been kind here for Clogs for Real. Clogs for Real in front by 2, circling up on the far outside for you girls. Then to the inside, the editor third. KJ Real Deal did not go on. They're in the stretch. And it's still Clogs for Real being confidently handled, chased home by the editor. Clogs for Real, indeed. Very close second, a very game, the editor on the oncoming For You Girls. And then farther back, a photo in a final time of 2 minutes flat.
Clogs for Real by Rusty's for Real. Back-to-back wins in his career, posted a 1:58 and 4 time in his debut and followed this up with the 2-minute flat time. Earlier at Oceans Down, there was a non-wagering 2 starters in the 2-year-old filly trot. Only I Exist by Y'all Beneath gets her first win. 2 minutes and 3/5 was her mile time. New Concept was the other entrant. Indiana held a variety of Sire Stakes races as well. First up Wednesday night, 2-year-old Colton Gelding Trotters had their 3rd leg at Hoosier Park. Let's see who wins the first of 2 splits.
For home, 3/4, 129. Off the turn, Flirting with the Pilot has the lead. Brookview El Zorro tips out. Gruesome Twosome is on the end. Brookview El Zorro went off stride. Brookview El Zorro went on a break as Flirting with the Pilot has a 2-length lead inside the final 1/8 of a mile. Helps Pay the Bills trying to rally up the inside. Topville Sebastian and Gruesome Twosome. It's still Flirting with the Pilot. Flirting with the Pilot has won it. It is a 3-way photograph for second with Gruesome Twosome, Helps Pay the Bills, and Topville Sebastian, 157 and 1.
Flirting with the Pilot. Pilot Discretion gets his 3rd win in 4 career starts. He posted a 156 and 3 in his debut and has yet to trot a better time. This last mile was 157 and 1, trained by Melanie Wren. Next up, we'll see who wins the second split.
Corkscrew dropped down inside the pylons, 3/4 in 128 and 2, 29 and 2 third quarter. El Helpsky in front. Uncle Archie, flight number 1, then Swan Explosion on the outside. Trying to rally up the inside is Mel Gibbs Swan. It's still El Helpsky with the lead. Flight number 1, Mel Gibbs Swan coming on. On the outside are Ponda Marshall and Swan Explosion, but it's El Helpsky and Peter Wren to win it. Flight number 1 second, then Mel Gibbs Swan, Ponda Marshall, and Swan Explosion, 156 and 3.
El Hepsky by Help is on the way, gets 2nd win in 3 starts. Another Melanie Wren trained trotter, 156 and 1 is now his lifetime mark. 2-year-old filly trotters were also held Wednesday, the third leg at Hoosier Park. 2 splits as well. Somebody special goes perfect 3 for 3 in the first split. She won this in 156 and 3, which is 1/5 of a second off her lifetime mark, which she posted at the Red Mile. Irvin Miller trains this filly. Let's see this final closing quarter of a mile.
Front by 3, arriving at the top of the stretch. 3/4, 128. Black Gold, Sundries the trailer. Black Gold's in front by 3, arriving at the top of the stretch. 3/4, 128. Black Gold, Somebody Special, trying to kick it up a notch and move up on the inside. On the outside is Crystal Swan, then Truly Unbelievable, Swan Too Many, and Sunny Sundries. Black Gold, Somebody Special's got an opening on the inside. Somebody Special, Black Gold, Crystal Swan on the outside. Somebody Special now comes on to take the lead in deep stretch. Somebody Special is the winner. Photo for second with Crystal Swan and Black Gold, then Sunny Sundries in 150.
And again, that's Somebody Special. A couple of races later, Ponda Title by Muscle Massive as a 5 for 5. She puts up a 155 mile time for trainer Jay Hotstelter. Let's see this one.
Stretch. 3/4, 126 and 4, 29 and 1 third quarter. Ponda Title in front. Ponda Grace is the pursuer with Skyway Page looking for racing room. Agent of Fortune to the outside. Ponda Title is still in front. Here comes Skyway Page. Ponda Grace to the inside is Star Pilot. It's Ponda Title, but Skyway Page is closing in. Ponda Title, Skyway Page. It's a photo. Third was Swan's Morning Song. It's also a photo for fourth with Star Pilot and Agent of Fortune, 155.
If we move on to Thursday, there was one split for the 2-year-old filly Pacers in Indiana, leg 3. Let's see who wins it.
All JK in front, 3/4, 123 and 1. T. Latini is second. Desired Luck, then Let's Go Into the Era. Next is Jada Caroline. Coming to the final eighth of a mile, All JK and T. Latini. T. Latini on the outside now puts a head in front. Down on the inside is Desired Luck. T. Latini has taken over in deep stretch, and it is T. Latini and Peter Wren to win it. Let's Go Into the Era second, All JK third, Desired Luck fourth in 151 and 1.
T. Latini gets her 4th win in 5 starts. Her one blemish was a second place finish in her debut. Has been perfect since. Puts up a 151 and 1 mile time, which is now a lifetime mark. Roger Welch trains. And the last state we're going to look at is Pennsylvania. 2-year-old filly Pacers, third leg, 2 splits. Let's see who wins the first one.
2 and 3 for Lions Legend, looking to remain undefeated now. Her lead is 2.5. Miraculous Deo second, moving to the outside. Pressure Cooker, Sweet Gal pinned down fourth. 2 lengths back in fifth. Sea Shanty Hanover, they straighten away for the stretch drive. And Lions Legend has gotten away. She is pouring it on. Lions Legend's up by big numbers, close for second. And the inside, Sweet Gal, outside Miraculous Deo, but Lions Legend just dominated this division of the Sire Stakes. Sweet Gal second. Miraculous Deo was third, finishing fourth. Pressure Cooker, 150 and 2 the time.
Lions Legend by Stay Hungry. The James King train pacing filly remains perfect, 5 for 5, as she also puts up a lifetime mark of 150 and 2. A few races later, Caviar Bell by Captain Tarantulus gets a 152 mile time, which is also her lifetime mark, and what's her 3rd lifetime win. Has never finished worse than second in 5 starts. Let's see this one.
Side fourth into third now, picking up that cover, Pass and Stowe. They've reached 3/4, 122 and 4. It was a 27 and 2 third for Caviar Bell. Up on the outside, My Girl EJ picks up the chase. Inside, Sarasota Hanover third. Stuck in Shea Panacos. They straighten the way for the stretch drive. Caviar Bell leads by 2.5. My Girl EJ picks up the chase now, dives to the open. Caviar Bell has the lead. My Girl EJ's racing at her. Caviar Bell, My Girl EJ running out of real estate. Caviar Bell over My Girl EJ. Finishing third was Pass and Stowe, fourth Sarasota Hanover.
And that wraps up our U.S. Sire Stakes action. We're going to take one more quick break. And when I come back, I'll have join with me Grady Hachey as we talk Gold Cup and Saucer. We also talk a couple stake races going on in Manitoba. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, and we're going to bring in Grady Hachey now to talk everything Gold Cup and Saucer. You're my Maritimes correspondent, man. How's everything going with you?
It's going good so far. Obviously a little week vacation from my regular work at Truro as we took a couple days off with all the racing going on in Charlottetown. But everything's going good, and looking forward to the Gold Cup final.
Yeah, not much racing can go on other places when there's like 50 races going on at Charlottetown over the next few days, right? So all the horses and horsemen must be going there.
I think there's quite a few people that go over there and just stay for the week. It's the biggest week of racing in the Maritimes and one of the biggest weeks of racing in all of Canada.
Well, that's what I was telling some friends. When you even look in your calendar on your iPhone, there's a little Friday, the Gold Cup parade's on your calendar, right, in your iPhone. Like, that's how big it is. It's a holiday, right?
Yeah, it's a holiday on Prince Edward Island, Gold Cup Parade Day, and this year they're adding the RCMP musical ride to the parade, so that's pretty cool.
That is cool. I just saw that when I was in Winnipeg, actually, so my kids had a good time with that. But let's talk about the big race, the $100,000 Gold Cup and Saucer Saturday night. Race 15, I think, was the last race of the card. Goes off at like midnight local time. Big field of 9. Let's take a little look at each of the elimination winners first. PL Aussie, I think the one on Monday night, gets the rail. Do you think that helps this horse?
Very much so, yes. From what I have heard and from looking at his chart lines, it seems like when he was at the Meadowlands and his one start at Rito, he was a front-end horse. And in the post-race interview, Jason Hughes drove him. He said that the plan was to leave with him, but obviously with Lawless Shadow and Batter Up Hanover leaving to the inside of him, he had to sort of take back, so he didn't really know how it would go. But the horse showed some versatility, but with the rail, he'll probably be able to get a trip that he rathers, and he does add Jody Jameson.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, too. A big-time race like this, we get some names that you don't normally see out in the Maritimes, and he gets Jody Jameson. How do you feel about this horse's elimination? Like, do you think, like you said, he started from the back end, which was uncharacteristic, but he still had a 27-3 closing quarter. He got the job done, right?
Yeah, he flew home. Came from the clouds because really turning for home, it looked like he'd be lucky to make the final as he was caught in some traffic, but he found racing room late and he flew. It was kind of incredible to see. He got up and nipped Lawless Shadow at the line. And with the rail and Jody Jameson, he's made it pretty well known that he wants to win this race very bad. So that he's going to be trying to put himself in the best position possible. And where this horse is a front-end kind of horse, he'll definitely be leaving off the rail and taking no prisoners.
Oh, yeah, especially when you have Lawless Shadow right to your side there and other horses coming in hot and heavy from the outside, which actually let's move on to the other elimination winner or trial winner. Fun at the Beach that had the fastest trial time. Now he comes from the middle of the pack. What do you think he's going to do?
Fun at the Beach, I find that this race is extremely hard to tell how it's going to necessarily set up. Besides PL Aussie leaving from the rail and the inside two leaving out, Fun at the Beach is sort of in a position where he's probably going to be forced to land away maybe a little bit mid-pack or maybe sitting 4th or 5th. So yeah, mid-pack. But his elimination, he showed a lot of speed. He went to the lead early. He let Rollum go, and Rollum is a very accomplished horse here in the Maritimes and before he came here. And Fun at the Beach just exploded off Rollum's back in the stretch and just flew by. It appeared Scott Young was just sitting chilly in the bike. So it's going to be really hard to tell. This horse is definitely competitive as he is a Grand Circuit horse, but he's going to need a good trip, and right now it's hard to tell if he'll get one.
No, anything can go on a half-mile track, right, at midnight on a Saturday night. And the other elimination winner, Covered Bridge, gets the 9-hole. But we remember the 9-hole was the winner last year, right, with Sintra. Do you think we could maybe see a back-to-back 9-hole winner?
Absolutely. He's my top pick in the race. Okay. 51-2 winning trial, and Scott Young said in his post-race interview, I can't directly quote him, but it was somewhere along the lines of that it was pretty much a training mile for the horse, which is incredible. And with the inside 3 leaving most likely PL Aussie, Lawless Shadow, and American History, they'll all try and get spotted well. I can see Covered Bridge following them right through and finding himself in a good position early on.
Oh, perfect. And one horse you kind of mentioned, a horse that I was pretty heavy on going into the trials was Rollum, got second, found his way into the big show. Kind of gets buried here in post position 7, but is this been a horse you've been keeping your eye on over the last month or two when he's been racing out there?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's the talk of the Maritimes, him and a 3-year-old Colt Malignity, who I believe we'll talk about later on. But Roland has simply been incredible. I work for Truro Raceway, so I was lucky enough to see him live at Truro in the Johnny Conroy, which he won easily in 153 in early July. And then he followed that up with a track record performance at Summerside Raceway in the Governor's Plate elimination, won the final of that race easily. Then he went back to Truro, went first up on a 30-plus degree day, and still wins in 151 and 3. He's a very good horse. Post 7, I don't think will hurt him because I think he does have a bit of versatility. And if you notice in his races, he doesn't normally go to lead until the quarter. He's not real fast off the gate, but when he does get moving, he can. And I think that there'll be some live cover. I won't be surprised if he picks up some major shares.
Perfect. Is there any other horse on this field that, you know, people should take notice of that maybe don't watch Maritimes racing or don't even watch? Most of these horses actually aren't from the Maritimes. Like, is there a horse that you think could maybe sneak in a win?
Lawless Shadow for me. From post 2, he was parked 3 wide to the quarter and still just got nipped at the wire in 51 and 4 in his elimination. That was only his second start on a half-mile track. With post 2, he'll be in the mix early on, and you never know. There is a passing lane at Charlottetown, so he may find himself ready to pounce at the inside, turning for home. So I think Lawless Shadow, and you might get some value. I'm thinking he'll go to post around 6-1 on the odds board, so maybe a little bit of value with him. But to me, he's definitely a very competitive in this field.
Exactly, and expect an amazing race call like always. But that's kind of the big race. But maybe we'll take a look at the consolation too that goes Friday night, I believe, right? The James Roach McGregor Memorial.
Yeah, that is correct. Friday night.
Friday night, last race there. Is there any horses in this one that you kind of think, hey, if you're going to maybe get your teeth wet a little bit Friday night, the horse to watch out for in this one?
Well, I think a little bit of value in that one can be found in number 3, Batter Up Hanover. This is a very good horse who's been chasing the best in the Maritimes all year long. And his driver, Paul Langell, took no prisoners in the trial and left it all on the line by parking Lawless Shadow to the quarter, going 3 wide. He just tired in the stretch to finish 4th, only beaten 4 lengths, was only about a half length off of making the final. He gets post position 3, and he does like to front end it. And I think that he's probably the one in the race that can race off the front the best. So 6-1 on the morning line. I don't think he'll get those odds going to the gate, but to me, he certainly could be the one to beat.
Of course. And sorry, anyone else in this one you like? Is it kind of is it just that horse, or is there anyone else that you think can maybe be in the mix?
Well, definitely the rail horse Rockabilly Rebel. 2 starts in Charlottetown, both finishing 4th, but he shows like he has a lot of speed, as he did win in 149 and 2 at Hoosier Park this year. Just didn't have any racing luck in his first 2 starts at Charlottetown. So with the inside draw for trainer Colin Johnson, we'll see what he can do. But I won't be surprised if he could also get it done. I see him finishing no worse than 2nd.
Oh, perfect. And again, this is our coverage here of the consolation, which is race 14 Friday, which would be tonight when this is played. 11:25 local time, and hopefully you're going to have a lot of energy this weekend if races are going off at midnight, right? But it's all a part of the week. Now let's jump back to Saturday. Birth of Confederation Mares Series final. Big field of 8 here. Just finding my place here too. We're jumping around too much. Is there anyone in this one? These mares, 12,500 up on the line. These are some pretty good mares. The favorite is the 3, looks like the morning line favorite, Dream Fair Zenfire with Mark Campbell. Is there anyone else in here you think that could challenge her?
Personally, I am leaning towards the 6, Chelsea, in that one for Corey McPherson, trainer Jennifer Doyle. Only made 3 starts in the Maritimes since returning, as she is a daughter roll with it Harry, so she has raced in the Maritimes plenty of times before. And she set her lifetime mark in the elimination of this race, where she did have broken equipment, but still came on to win by 3 lengths in 154 flat. That was very impressive. And the start before that, she was 2nd. Looked like she was going to get up for the win at Woodstock, just an hour up the road from me in Woodstock, New Brunswick. But maybe hit a rough spot in the track in the stretch and broke stride. But she really followed that up with that impressive 154 winning mile, and I think that she's just primed and ready to go. So I like her for winning the birthplace of Confederation Series final.
That's good. You can tell a horse is that kind of next level when they win and then they come back to the barn and you have to put the broken equipment next to them in the lines, right? But they still had a way to win. That's I found those horses. That's a difference between maybe an average horse and that next level horse, right? The one that can just get it done. Like you said, a horse that broke stride down the stretch at a track and then comes back with a big win. Big one to watch there. Is there anything else in this race you like? Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I do find that the 4 Plain Jane, who's been on a bit of a roll, winning 3 straights, and now picks up the incoming driver Jordan Stratton in the races. Mark Campbell gives Jordan Stratton a drive in the Birthplace of Confederation Series final, maybe as a little bit of a warm-up for him before the big dance. And Plain Jane has been very impressive. As I said, 3 straight. She's one of the best mares in Atlantic Canada, and 4-1 on the morning line. So you never know what kind of odds you'll get on her.
Yeah, when I saw that name on the line sheet, I was like, why does that name sound so familiar, right? But yeah, he's a guy who races drives in New York. Usually, I think he's been in a lot of the big ones lately. Has he been out in the Maritimes by your knowledge?
No, I believe that this will be his first time ever in the Maritimes, obviously with Covered Bridge, a horse he's been driving all year long, making the final and doing so impressively. I can imagine that maybe him and trainer Jeff Gillis had some sort of a deal where if the horse could make the final, he would come down to drive him, which is great to see. And I hope that Mr. Stratton knows how important it is to Atlantic Canadians to be in that race and to win it.
Yeah, sure he does. That kind of wraps up that one. Next, we'll go to the Joe O'Brien Memorial. There was 2 splits for this one, and the first one's the race 8 on Saturday. And you mentioned the horse already, Malignity. This is another one that's been very hot. I remember, when he was racing at Churro and Sugar had the call, this horse was just on fire and continues to be on fire. Is that the horse you're going to go with in this one?
To me, there's no other horse in the race that could win it. Malignity has been the best horse in the Maritimes in the 3-year-old ranks all year long, and he does it pretty easily. He's just been a joy for owners Debbie Francis and Roseanne Langell. Roseanne's son Paul Langell is the trainer driver on him. This Colt the Malicious is just so thrilling to watch. It appears he does it so effortlessly, and he's rattled off, I think, 5 wins in a row now. He's never finished worse than 2nd this year, I believe. So it's an amazing horse that, to me, there is no beating him in that race.
No, if you look at his lines, too, he seems to win wire to wire every week. Doesn't matter if he starts... Well, he's actually not had the rail in a long time. He comes from the middle of the pack, and he still wins wire to wire. So what do you see this horse, if he gets trapped near the back end, do you still think he'll get the job done?
He will not get trapped near the back end. He has so much gate speed, and there's no way that Paul Langell does not send him straight to the front and let him do his work, because it really seems that's all it is, that he lets him go and the horse does his job, and that's all there is to it. So no, there's no possible way he'll be stuck in traffic, especially in a 6-horse field.
All right, so we both agree with Malignity, but if you were going to play the exactor, which horse would you put for second in this one?
I would go towards the 6th, Woodmere Denny. I thought that he raced really good in his first start back in the Maritimes, where he only lost to Malignity by 2 lengths in 154-1. That was, I believe, his fastest charted mile ever. Dale Spence for his wife, Mackenzie Spence. This horse, like I said, he raced really big in his last start, so we'll see if he can repeat with another big performance to finish second to Malignity.
Awesome. And then a few races later is the second split for the Joe O'Brien Memorial. Another 6. Excuse me. Widmer Dealer is the morning line favorite, looks like, at 5-2 with Jason Hughes. Do you think this one is he the clear winner in this one like Malignity, or do you think this one's a little bit tighter?
This one is by far a lot more wide open than the other division, as really in the Atlantic Sire Stakes and the Maritime 3-year-old stakes scene, it sort of seems that Malignity is here and the rest are pretty much here, all chasing for second. And so in this one, I went to the 2 Starship Glide. He's not Atlantic sired, but he has raced in a few of the stake races. And his last 2 starts, he's raced against age competition and handled that pretty well, winning by open lengths in his most recent 155 flat. So to me, getting back in with the 3-year-olds and showing that kind of speed, he's definitely the one to beat in here.
Awesome. And then is there any other horses in this one you kind of think that could be close to that?
Woodmere Dealer, for sure, as you mentioned him. Jason Hughes has done a great job with this full half-brother, I believe, to Woodmere Steel Deal. So Woodmere Dealer in there, he's been chasing the best colts in the Maritimes all year. So I think that he's definitely got a really good chance in there.
Awesome. And that's kind of the big one. There's tons of big races. We could spend hours talking about every race, but those are the big ones at Red Shore, Charlottetown this weekend. Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, post time, which would be 7 local, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Okay. The Atlantic throws me off. I don't know why. I'm pretty good with my time zones up until Quebec, and then I kind of can't remember what the Maritimes are.
It's just, just 1 hour difference from Quebec.
Perfect. And then again, the same time, 7 p.m. Well, the late card 7 p.m. on Saturday, correct? And then there's the early card.
There's the double header with which both have 14 races, so it'll be a very big day of racing.
I could barely call 11 races in a day. I go through about 3 or 4 Red Bulls when I was calling, so I could only imagine doing 28. So
I think Ken Workington housed Vance Cameron out throughout both cards. So Vance is primed and ready for the big one.
Awesome, that's perfect. And then since I have you, I was going to ask if we did the surf part. Let's go to the turf and do some Manitoba stake races. There's 2 splits on Saturday afternoon as well. Are you up for that?
Oh yeah, let's give her a go. Let's see if I can pick something.
For sure. They're small fields, 2 5-horse fields in the Lady Crocus. And at first, I wasn't even. This kicks off the stake season here in Manitoba. Finally, get the new track going, and finally get the stake season going. And at first, I wasn't too sure about the horses, and then I look at these races, and not the first one, but the second one is going to probably be by far the toughest. But let's see the first one. Who do you have winning this one in your handicapping ability?
I went with Mocking Millions in there. I just noticed that she had been racing at Century Downs and was in the Rumpel elimination and gave a good account of herself. Finished 5th in 156-3, and now she gets back on home turf in Manitoba. So to me, just showing where she has taken on the best in Western Canada, that she's the one to beat in there.
No, I completely agree, and it's tough. For someone who doesn't watch Manitoba all the time, Trevor Williams and Blake Pinnock, the team up there, I think, what did Blake have? 5 wins opening day at the Loop, and they've won almost 40 to 50% of the races in Manitoba this year, those 2 combined. So it's really hard to go against those 2, and you're right. You think the lines here, though, Century Downs, there's another Century Downs one, the 5, Nonversation that I like for second. Is that the way you're heading for second, or do you go a different way?
Yeah, no, I went the same way with that one because to me, the other horses in the race haven't shown quite as much because of the spotty racing schedule in Manitoba, respectfully. But these ones that have raced at Century Downs and stuff and tried it in the stake races and tried it some good miles doing so, I think that those are the 2 to beat in there for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And do you have a third pick to throw out your triactor in this one?
Yeah, I went to the rail sitter in here, AK Night Lady. I noticed that she's been racing pretty good so far. Was in a little bit of stake action last year at Miami, where she was second in a couple of those. Won her first start this year. So to me, she'll be a good one to round up the try.
Crazy, man. We have the exact same thing, but I do have to mention Little Bitty Baylor won the inaugural race that I thought, no, maybe that's race 2, but anyway, no, who was it? Oh, it was a different horse. That's little Bobby Baylor, different horse completely. Got the 2 mixed up, but the Little Bitty Baylor and Shirley Scooter line up in this one as well. On to the next race 4. That's the second split. This one, I was mind blown. I thought I was going to go handcuffed all the way. Horse has 4 or 5 straight wins in Manitoba. There's no way this horse can't be this one. And then I noticed a couple other names in this one. My Little Chloe, who I'm pretty sure is the track record holder at Track on 2, or if she isn't anymore, she just got beat out. And Give Me a Corona, that's a Grand Circuit horse. She's in prospect races in Ontario. Who do you go with this one?
I did go to the rail sitter, My Little Chloe. I really like that win at the Track on 2 in 154-1. That's incredibly impressive, and that's the best speed figure in this race by at least a second. So I went to her, the rail sitter, My Little Chloe, and that one to me should just be a front end victory and close it out.
Yeah, I put her for second. I had to go with Give Me a Corona, racing in Southern Ontario in the Prospect Series, getting a win in 155-4 in Sarnia, like, and getting second place the week before, a couple weeks before in Hanover. Grand River Prospect Series gets the win. I was like, how is this horse? Like, this horse, I don't know how this horse is at 2-1 morning line odds or whatever it was given. I would go with this one. And then my little Chloe, who do you have for second?
I went to Gimme a Corona for second, as you mentioned, racing in the Prospect Series in Ontario and stuff, and making checks and winning a few races so far this year. 11 starts, 3 wins, 4 seconds, and over 22,000 made. So very well accomplished filly in here. A daughter control the moment, so I did put her for second.
And do we have an agreement on third? Or are we both going the 5, or do you have somebody else?
No, that's the 5 is who I'm in agreement with you with.
Oh man, I was, like I said, it's hard to take a horse that has 5 straight wins here. Again, teams up with Trevor and Blake, and say, oh, this horse is going to be third, because those 2 other horses are just too insane to. I think if you're, hopefully this is live streamed. I don't know if it's going to be live streamed. I hope today is live streamed, because and available for simulcast, because these 2 races, the fillies, there are 2 fields of 5, but I think we're going to have some crazy speed and something that we don't always have in Manitoba. So it'll be good races to watch. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Thank you for talking Gold Cup and Saucer, man. Thank you for talking Manitoba with me. Best of luck with everything on Churro, man. I always like to watch you and Mel. You guys do a great job out there, man. And keep it going.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, man. All right, that's the show for today. We're now live. I was going to try to do an update for the World Driving Championship. They just finished the 9th race. Canada's Doug McNair gets the win. I'm going to keep the live stream open. I'm not going to talk, but I'll have all the points updated in moments once I get the final rundown, and we'll get that going to see if Netherlands' Rick Ibbage was able to get enough points that the last race doesn't matter. He did have a lead, as you can see on the bottom here, over Belgium's Hannah Huygens and, of course, Canada's Doug McNair. It was very close. So I'm going to keep the live stream open. We'll be right back in moments, and I'll come talk to you guys, whoever's still watching, about what the standings are going forward. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right. So after quick calculation, this is just mental math. I'm kind of waiting for the official math to come out. But as of now, with one race left, the Netherlands is still leading at 159 points, with Doug McNair, I believe, at 148. And second, and now third place, is Belgium's Hannah Nugent at 144 points. So, if the link is live or put down in our caption and our bio, if you want to watch the very last race to see who wins, I suggest go there because I'll be watching. I'm going to sign off right now. It's been great. I want to thank Grady again for joining me. I want to thank all of you for joining me. I want to thank our presenting sponsor, Harness Link. I want to thank our episode sponsor, Harness Bid, and of course, our US Sire Stakes sponsor, USTA. On behalf of everyone at Harness Link, Ace Behind the Scenes, I'm Trey Colbeck. See you next time. Bye-bye.